Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of the Casual Experts podcast. Today, while discussing the topic for this video, we thought about that we should talk about something that is more relatable to us as the presenters of this podcast and to the people who will watch this today or 10 years down the lane. But with that in mind, something occurred to me, and which is very, it affects us all in different ways, which is hope and hardships. So, generally speaking, hardships can be something which is very much of a cliche topic to talk about generally, but it is something that we experience in our everyday lives. Certainly in the times that we are living in today, people are facing hardships in every spirit of the word, be it economic hardship, be it mental hardship, in every way. So I was actually reading a book called Outliers, and though the story of the book and the context of it is quite different, but there is something that was discussed in this book that is, I think, which should be shared with the people. It is about a small town in Pennsylvania in United States, where there is a small town called Roseto. So the people of Roseto, they had very good physical health. They were very agile, they were very active, they were very they lived a very good life, physically speaking. And so it actually there was some sort of curiosity related to why the people of Roseto had such good health, and the people starting investigating it, and it was found out that there was no medical evidence to support the fact that there was something that related that actually led them to have good health. They had poor diets, they didn't have much of physical activity, they were very they were obese, yet they had the lowest rates of heart attacks in entire United States in early 1900s. So what was eventually found out that they had a very strong sense of community life, and that strong sense of community life actually led them to have a very good physical well-being. Now, relating this to what I was thinking about it actually, and where I live, there is the place I live in, there are a lot of Afghans that have migrated recently from Afghanistan to this place. And I was thinking about this Roseto story. I was going on a walk and I just thought about this. I saw these people that they had a very strong sense of community life as well, and they were very happy. Apparently, of course, they would have problems. They came from a life where they faced war for decades. They lost their loved ones, they lost people, but they now were living a life which was much more peaceful, much more overall it was much more peaceful. So when I saw that, and then I thought about this Roseto story, so it gave me a sense of hope that people, no matter how bad the circumstances are, you will get through it if you have the will to actually sustain yourself in hope. Because if you lose hope, then you have lost everything. And people who I saw that were smiling, that were happy, they were there because they had faith, they had hope that one day the place we are living in, the circumstances that we are in, will be over, and we will have a life that is much better to what it is right now. And that was a testament for me, that I saw that with my own eyes. So keeping that in mind, bringing into perspective that the generation that we belong to, the millennials specifically, we have a lot of problems. We have a generational anxiety. We have depression at absolutely astounding rates. But we are very resilient also. We take up challenges, we face them, we live with them, and we actually operate with a lot of zeal and zest that we will face our circumstances no matter what. So I understand that I've spoken a lot about this. Now I would like my co-host Zahid to present his thoughts on this topic. This was a brief introduction of what was the topic that was planned for this podcast, what I had been thinking about it. And now I would like Zahid to tell us what his thoughts about this are, and we'll carry it forward. Over to you, Zahid.
Hello guys, we are back with another episode of our podcast. Recently, we have been seeing the rise of an unprecedented crisis all over the world after the pandemic. And as living in Pakistan, we are also facing many problems such as inflationary, economic issues, going to an IMF, rising bill issues, unemployment, and many issues like climate change, and recently we got floods, and currently we are also facing similar situation in northern Punjab. But as the Ray discussed, that in times of adversity there is always hope, and people currently are facing many problems which they are going through. Without hope, they could not easily pass them until they lose their loved ones or their home country. Without hope, they cannot survive in a new place. Similar is the case with the hope that was raised about risotto people. They migrated from Italy, and when they came to America, they had lost all their belongings and their hometown and their villages in Italy to search for new pastures. But there was a hope that they carried with them, was a close-knit community which held them in overpowering the hardships they were facing in a new country. Similarly, currently the world all over is going through similar crisis situations where migrations are happening, climate change is happening, civil wars, all-scale wars such as in Africa and many countries. And Afghanistan is a recent example where Taliban took over and many people had to migrate from their hometowns. But the moral of the story is that all these hardships was that they had hope, which allowed them to move ahead instead of struggling and losing all their will to live. But adversity brings a lot of hope and new chances for individuals and groups. As today's talk about Afghans living in this area, I have also witnessed how these refugees are coping up with these problems. Also, they are struggling. They have lost their family members and their close ones, friends. They have left behind a lot, but they seem to be enjoying or making the most of their present situation. This shows how hope is contributing to the survival. We at this certain age group are also going through a lot. All over the world, people which are falling in 18 to 30 age bracket are facing problems like unemployment, out of skill unemployments, rapidly changing technological fronts where many people are feeling redundant and laid off from their jobs. Too much mental issues are still a new crisis that is emerging in youth of the world. But still they are trying to cope up with these are helping each other through various groups and various platforms. This is also true that many people in our country are also leaving Pakistan as well, like the risotto people. But they have to struggle for their own families and their future. Instead of losing their hopes, they are carrying on with their work and looking for better opportunities other than Pakistan. Further, today's will discuss about how hope helps in adversity and this phenomena of risotto people currently happening in all other societies.
So, the point of this discussion is that, see, whoever is watching this video and if you, I mean, certainly you would, because Pakistan has a huge middle class. None of these words can actually resolve your economic hardships that specifically I'm talking about, that we are saying. None of these words will actually resolve them. But what is the purpose of it then? The purpose of saying all these things is that it is only through hope that you can beat your current circumstances when things get out of control. Certainly you have to do effort to make your life better, but it is understandable that at a certain stage in life things do get out of control, and when that happens you have to fundamentally believe in the power of hope, because that is how people have achieved tremendous results. Like, we all know the story of Thomas Alva Edison, right? He did 3,000 failed attempts before he invented a light bulb. That is crazy. Like, such sheer consistency. But it is the power of hope that actually sustains you in life. So this is not a very, this might not be something new that you would have heard. This is not something that this is like we are trying to discuss a very, new idea with you. It's not like that, but sometimes things have to be reiterated, and that is why we wanted to do this episode on this podcast, because we fundamentally believe that our topics of discussion should be relatable to the common people that watch us. I understand that it is extremely early days for us and probably no one will watch this, but to the one or two people who will, this is our message, and that let's all invest our energies and our power to do whatever is best for us. But having said that, let's hope that things will get better, and it will definitely.